Hey, we're going to break out the Bradley P10 Professional Smoker today. Smoke up a big old T-bone. And then we'll reverse sear it to finish it off, to give it that nice crust. Now, I'm sure you've seen that before, but I've got something super special to go with this T-bone. Goat cheese butter. I've got 2 T-bones today. These are about 1.8 pounds each. Look at that. Nice. Inch and a half thick maybe. What I've got here, just as a binder, light layer of duck fat. This will help our seasoning stick. Just want to make sure you get the ends here, both sides. Now, you can use salt, pepper, coffee rub, whatever your favorite beef rub is. I'm going to use the Armadillo pepper beef rub. Just so happens I finally found a seasoning that my son, anytime I make a steak, he goes crazy over. So that's why I'm going to make this, or use this seasoning. But like I say, use whatever seasoning you want. This goat cheese butter we're going to make is going to go good with any seasoning. I'm almost out of this jar. May have to break open another one, we'll see. You want to get the ends here. Sides, I should say, not the ends. And it's a thick cut of meat, so you can go a little heavy. You know, unlike if you were doing a thin pork chop or, say, a chicken thigh that isn't very thick. So a lot of meat here. So feel free to go a little heavy. And if you want to learn more about the Armadillo pepper rub, I'll put a link in the video so that you can go check it out. That's all we're doing to get these guys prepped. I'm going to let them sit here 10-15 minutes while the Bradley smoker comes up to temp. I'll meet you over at the Bradley. I've got this Bradley set 225. You can see it's actually at 226. We've got 1 rack in. That's all we're going to need. Let's get that bad boy in there. Let's get this bad boy in. We'll get a temp probe in it. Don't want to overcook these big steaks. Let me get the door shut. You can see we've got some nice smoke coming out of our Bradley P10. I'm using hickory biscuits today. We'll smoke for 1 hour, unless the steaks are done before then. Now, while those T-bones are cooking, let's get this goat cheese butter going. What I've got here, this is a stick of Amish butter, salted, maybe a little bit more than a stick. I've got a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, teaspoon of minced garlic, teaspoon of chopped the top from a green onion. And then over here we've got the goat cheese. Now I've made this several times. Goat cheese usually comes at least here in 4-ounce packages. You can do that. I've done it. But what I've done here is I've got about 3 ounces, and I've even used half before too. For me personally, 4 ounces is just a little bit too much. Might be just fine for you. And I've had this sitting out on the counter inside. You can see it's still not melted real easily, or not extremely soft. I shouldn't say melted, because it's cold here today. I've had it outside. But anyway, all you want to do is take a spoon. I guess you could take a blender or something if you knew how to do that kind of stuff. Now you can see that white from the goat cheese is blended in nicely with the butter. That's how you know you've got everything mixed well. And now, set this over here. You can use wax paper, or you can use cling wrap, whatever you want to call it. Just going to get a piece out here. Rip that off. And you've seen me make the butters before. Quite simple. We just want to put this in our saran wrap. And you want to get, trust me, this butter's delicious. You want to get all of this. Okay. There we go. Now you can use the saran wrap to kind of mold it, if you will, into a butter log, a butter stick, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be eating this. I'm not too worried about if it's, perfectly square on each side or round like the butter you buy in the store. Look at that. Just going to wrap it up like so. You can see that's pretty easy. There's our butter. Now while the steak continues to cook, we'll put this goat cheese butter back in the fridge and it'll harden or setting up a little bit better. Hey, we're right at 59 minutes. Now, I hope you can see this in the video. You see this is flashing? I had set the temp probe in that T-bone for 109 degrees. It was beeping, but I had to turn all the cameras on. You know, it times out after a while. Anyway, let's have a look here. You can see I did put some potatoes in there. Now, these are going to be pretty rare right now, right? 110 degrees. Still, see the nice color on them? We're going to sear them here in a minute. Now I've got some regular old mayonnaise. Just going to put a light coat of mayonnaise on these guys. I've got about 4 teaspoons. I don't know if we'll need it all. Why does he put mayonnaise on them? It's going to give you the great crust. So just get each of these guys all mayonnaised up, like so. Let's get this bad boy covered as well. And I've got this cast iron skillet here heating up. It's on high heat. And there we go. Now, I don't know if it's hot enough yet. Let me just see. I believe it is. We'll let it go 1 to 2 minutes each side. We're just looking to get that crust on there. Now don't worry, the mayonnaise is not going to change the flavor of these T-bones. Just to recap, we sprayed these T-bones with a little duck fat as a binder. Use olive oil if you don't have duck fat. We seasoned them up with the Armadillo pepper beef rub. We put them in that Bradley P10 Professional Smoker for it was 59 minutes at 225 degrees. Brought them up to 110, 111, 112 degrees, and then seared them off. They've been resting here about 10 minutes roughly. We're going to cut into one. The moment we've been waiting for. Look, you can see that butter starting to melt. Just going to cut right across this guy like so. They seem to be tender enough, juicy enough. Let me open this up so you can see it. You can see there we're right at medium rare. Now I will remind you, I'm outside, so the lighting is different than inside, but hopefully you can see the red in that beautiful steak. Tender as it can be. Just look at that beautiful steak. Do you see the juiciness there? And now for the moment of truth. Oops, didn't cut it all the way through. Yes, sir. First of all, nice, clean smoke. You get that on that T-bone. It is just incredibly juicy. I think you can see that. I hope you can see that. Goat cheese butter. Earthy, creamy. Got those red pepper flakes. You gotta give this recipe a try.